Welcome to a couple of bunkies. So I checked my video schedule and I checked the dates that I usually release videos, and I found out that on January 26th is Spouse's Day. I had never heard of this holiday, so I did some quick Google searches. A lot of the imagery for this holiday is hearts and rings.
Tim wanted to do something quick but special for this day, and so he started drawing some rings over on the Inkscape.
Now that I have the two rings intertwined, I wanted to make some symbolism of tying the knot. So I wanted to make a square knot. Now that the square knot is done, I wanted to overlap the square knot with the two rings. I am very happy with this image so far. Now I want to make a heart to use as a background. I have the heart in the inner drawing of where I want it to be. I go ahead and overlap them. I just ended up changing this later. In order to use this image on the laser engraver, I used the Fill Bounded Areas tool, and I will either have the fill either set to no fill or white, and I will have the stroke either set to red or blue. The laser engraver reads red as telling it to cut through that area, so I end up changing the stroke paint to blue. Blue is kind of like a follow the line engraving function. Now I use the create rectangle or square function to make a large square overlapping this project. Now I fill the bounded area outside the heart. Now I can move that out of the way and fill the bounded area inside of that heart. Now I go ahead and delete the outlines that I don't want to use. Now I can change the outside blue to red so the computer can recognize that I want it to cut out that outline. Now I'm sure there's a way of offsetting a picture in Inkscape, but I have not figured it out yet. So I end up exporting this image to Lightburn. I end up using the offset function and move the red outline just a little bit wider than the blue outline. I export that project as an SVG file so I can open it back up in Inkscape. After loading the image back into Inkscape, I do some touch-up work to the knot and rings. I use the node tool in order to delete some of the excess and arbitrary lines on the image. I wanted to challenge myself a little bit and show off some features in Inkscape. I ended up copying Shakespears' Sonnet 40 and pasting it onto Inkscape. After getting the sizing and the spacing right, I selected both the heart and the text. Then I went to the drop down for the text and then flow into frame. I ended up making some more adjustments to the knot and rings before overlaying it on the image of the heart. I attempted to place the knot and the rings back over top of the heart and just didn't like what I was seeing.
I suggested to Tim that he can move knot and the rings down and have the lettering up above. He ended up having to alter some of the outlines to accommodate the change.
I again used the fill bounded area in order to fill the top part of the heart. I used the flow into frame function in order to put Shakespeare's sonnet onto the top of the heart. I then adjusted the size of the lettering and the background so everything would match perfectly. I then adjusted the ends of the rope so it would appear that the rope was hugging the heart. After getting the rope correct, I used the node tool in order to move the red outline around the edges of the rope. I added William Shakespears' name to the bottom of his sonnet. Then I proceeded to make some adjustments in order to make the rope look 3D once everything was cut out. By making the outer lines gray and creating inner lines made to look white, it will give it a two-tone depth. After I had made the lines look 3D, I changed the heart background to a light gray, and I changed the lettering to white. We then took this design and we loaded it onto the computer that runs our Monport laser. We have an affiliate link for Monport laser where you can get 6% off your purchase of this model right here. Use the link below and use the promo code Timothy6. We're using K40 software, so we start off by hitting the vector cut setting. I ended up buying some material that burns real terrible with this laser, and I'm trying something new that I had read online. I went ahead and covered the material with shipping tape. The idea is that it does not damage the face of the material, and this seemed to work pretty well. I then used the vector engrave setting. And then we used the raster engrave setting. This process ended up taking quite a bit of time, so we will read to you this sonnet. Take all my love ye take them all. What hast thou then more than thou hadst before?
No love, my love, that thou mayst true love call. All mine was thine before thou hadst this more.
Then if for my love thou my love receivest, I cannot blame thee for my love thou usest.
But yet be blamed if thou this self deceivest by wilful taste of what thyself refusest.
I do forgive thy robbery, gentle thief, although thou steal thee my poverty.
And yet love knows it is a greater grief to bear love's wrong than hate's known injury.
Lascivious grace, in whom all ill will shows. Kill me with spite, yet we must not be foes. Thank you for watching this video, and please consider subscribing. If you'd like to support our channel, leave a comment on what we can do next, and consider leaving us a super thanks.